Now let's get up to speed with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds! Whoa!
Our marks!
Trapdoor! 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 And the trapdoor comes in the night!
I can hear you breathing, I can see you coming, I can feel the wind that's blowing me around.
Welcome back, a gross scum, filth of the earth. Oh wait, I can't say that anymore because of the bridge. Right, I forgot. Welcome back, you nice satellites. You pieces of garbage. 5Ds, wasn't that a great time? It had it all. Great writing, great characters, a good story, and world building. I'm gonna miss all that. Don't get me wrong, 5Dicks isn't bad, it's just mediocre, especially when comparing it to the first part. That's because for some reason, I assume Konami made the decision, that Yu-Gi-Oh! Series have to go on for several years and have around 140 episodes, on average. And 5Ds, in my opinion, is the biggest offender of this, as the rest of the series was clearly not as planned as the Dark Sider arc, and even that wasn't perfect. So this video is going to focus on the part of the series where you start watching it and realizing, oh, they are kind of just making these up as they go along, aren't they? As we get something 5Ds hasn't had yet, standalone episodes intermixed with actual plot. That's right, we're going back to the structure of GX. Yay. Well, at least at the end of this we do get one of the best story arcs in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a trade-off. But until then, let's catch up with everyone after the Dark Siders. What's been going on? It's 6 months later, and we see in space a strange object crash down near New Domino that's now united with Satellite. Who cares about that, because Lazar is about to meet the new director who's replacing Goodwin. It took them 6 months to find a replacement for the leader of the super advanced futuristic society that just went through its biggest social reform in over a decade. Bureaucracy sucks. Lazar does have to go deal with this thing from space, and at the site we see it's a weird tablet, and 3 mysterious hooded figures are surrounding it. One of them is Sonic.
Excellent. It has arrived in one piece.
Yes, and already left quite the impression, I'd say.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Remember, there's a plan, and we must follow it.
He's not just a hedgehog, him and the other two are the new directors of New Domino. Yep, all 3, and Lazar accepts this, with no questions. Okay? Sometime later, we see Trudge and Mina, who are now partners, with Mina being chief of special investigations and Trudge is like her assistant. I knew he was a bottom. They are investigating an incident where a duelist was attacked by a strange monster, and not said in the dub, but he was killed. And when there's something strange in your turbo duel for children's card games, who you gonna call? Yusei, of course, who since the Goodwin stuff has been working with Jack and Crow to enter the World Racing Grand Prix together. And it's not clear, but I guess Jack is no longer a turbo duel star, and the 3 live in poverty, shacking up in some garage owned by an old lady who simps for Yusei hard. Which makes no sense. We find out it's common knowledge Yusei saved everyone from Goodwin who went all evil.
You go ahead and make all the noise you want. After all, you did save the world from those Dark Signers. I know you say it was all 3 of you, but you really just ought to quit being so modest.
Sure, whatever you say.
So, what the fuck? No one's gonna give the guy who saved the world or even his friends a penthouse or something? At least take care of his rent so Crow doesn't have to work minimum wage? Anyway, Trudge and Mina show up to ask for their help with the person attacking duelists, codenamed the Ghost, as turbo duels have become commonplace on the streets since the merger of the Tops and the Commons. But they refuse, saying they want to focus on the tournament, and it's not their job, they're not cops. I mean, they have a point. Trudge takes this to heart and wants to impress Mina, of course, so at night he goes to duel the Ghost, and gets wrecked, ending up in the hospital. Feeling guilty about this, the boys decide to head out and find the Ghost themselves, and of course, it ends up finding Yusei. And he's in for it as the Ghost has a special monster, Machine Emperor Wise Soul Infinity. That must sound sick in Japanese. In English, eh. Yeah? It's a special monster that is specially made to counter Synchro monsters, absorbing them. Too bad for him, Yusei has the greatest Duel Monsters cards ever printed this era. The Cyclers.
I'll summon Bicular in defense mode! Now, I play a special ability, the ability of Bicular! You see, when he's destroyed in battle, I'm then allowed to summon this guy, Unicycular!
And not thanks to them, he wins, sending Ghost off the track, crashing in the forest, where one of the road figures, the Sonic one, finds Ghost, takes its cards, and seeing Yusei's dragon, realizes he's involved, seeming to know who he is. The boys show up on the scene after he leaves and see Ghost is a robot? What's going on here? Back at the base, the boys, Mina, Trudge, who's recovered, and Akiza, and the twins, are all gathered as the boys tell them of this new threat that seems to have arrived. We're gonna ignore all that stuff that just happened for everyone's favorite part of anime, standalone episodes. And no, I'm not calling them filler because these episodes actually do have a reason for being here. Don't worry, it is a stupid one. In the next episode, we see what the twins and Akiza have been up to. They're all attending the Domino City Duel Academy, I guess, that I assume, because it's a private school, they go from elementary to high school. I'm just assuming here because they don't really explain the structure of anything happening here. They all just go to the same school, I guess. At least Akiza looks hot in her school uniform. What, I can be as creepy as I want. She's a drawing. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention 4Kids-ism. Mina's VA changed at some point. I don't remember when. It doesn't really matter. She's not that important. Leo Luna is no longer voiced by Cassandra Morris, and they're now voiced by Eileen Stevens, who of course most of you know as Belle Dandy, right? Right? Personally, I know her from another children's anime that took over my life for a period of time.
You are a little kid. Go ahead and act like a tough guy. You're such a kid. But of course you wouldn't know that. You're a kid. All ready to go, but you don't know where you're going, just like a kid.
Awesome. Actually, I prefer her voice for Leo. It's less energetic and way less ear grating, and I can actually listen to him now.
We saw you wipe the dome floor with that Anderson kid yesterday. You were awesome. And you know what? By the end of the day, you and I are going to be fellow members in the Best in Class Club.
Anyway, at the school, there's mean old teacher. I'm not going to name him. He's all mean, and Leo sucks at dueling. That's where this kid, Sly, comes in, who comes with the twins and some friends to see Yusei. And Sly seems to really not like Yusei for some reason, even claiming he wants his Stardust Dragon card for himself.
Only one person deserves that card, and that person's me.
The next day, Yusei is visited by the principal of that school, who asks Yusei to help with a problem. That problem is that mean old teacher, who's gonna expel all the kids for using weak-ass, bitch-ass cards. That's when Akiza shows up to duel this clown, teaching him, oh right, Yusei was called here, and he duels him instead. Could have given Akiza a nice moment to defend these kids, you know, showing how much he's changed over the past events, but whatever, she's just a woman. Well, since you're not dueling Akiza, what do you think of this situation?
Well, he won't save the entire city from total destruction, so yeah, I think he can handle Heitman.
I agree. Boring duel. Yusei wins with all the cards the kids combined, kind of like that facility duel with Armstrong. Wait a minute, this is a rerun, and it's worse. Yeah, the main problem is why Yusei Akiza's there and she's the top of her class in dueling, or you'd think Leo would do it since the episode set up that he sucked, so he'd have to prove himself to mean old teacher man. But I guess Yusei's the protagonist, so you can't go too long without him dueling. It's been a whole episode. Most importantly is at the end, Sly is none too pleased about Yusei winning, and says he'll make Yusei's Stardust Dragon his.
I want it. I want his Stardust Dragon. And I'll do anything to get it.
Wow. Does this kid have something to do with all the strange new things going on? No. Not at all. I'm not kidding, that's not a joke. This moment, which seems like set up to something later, never comes back. In fact, Sly never really comes back. He makes a cameo later, I guess. And this is the point of these episodes and why I say production didn't know where this was going, because for this and many other episodes, they set up several different plot points and mysteries that seem important, but never get addressed again. I assume they set up this thing with Sly and all the other stuff I'm not going to talk about to basically have a bunch of different directions to go in when they actually decide on what they needed to do. Which is a bad idea, because like I said, now we have all these random ass episodes that seem to have some connection to the main plot, but we just never talk about them again. It's GX Season 2 all over again, baby. So for the future, I will only point out the ones that actually matter or come up in a significant way in the future. So I'm skipping the next episode, which sees Crow dueling some old guy who's all grumpy because his family died and moves into the orphanage. Oh, so Crow can duel but not Akiza, huh? Okay, cool, yeah. Glad I don't get to see my favorite character in this show do anything. The important thing is, Blister, who's at the orphanage, informs the boys about the stone tablet that fell from space. At least Jack's episode is kinda funny, as unlike Crow, Jack spends all his time lounging in a cafe, so Crow forces him to get a job, which does lead to a bit I found funny of Jack getting fired from several jobs for being a self-centered prick. That's one with Carly, yeah, she's back too. Jack ends up challenging a loan shark for some kid to get his cards back. It's a nice gesture, I guess, showing he's full of himself, but still a good guy. As we see him continue to not work, I guess that's fine now, I guess Crow's okay with it, and enjoy time at the cafe with his new harem entrant, Stephanie, a waitress there. Yep, with her, Jack's harem is complete, along with Mina and Carly. Not kidding, these three just show up when Jack is involved and fight over him all the time. And no, him and Carly don't have like a special thing going on because of all the Dark Signer stuff, because you forgot, they just erased her memory from that, so she's just all gaga for Jack now. And Mina should be cooler since she's some super special detective, but woman's got a Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess. Oh, Stephanie literally serves no other purpose than to just simp for Jack. Like, that's her only reason for being here. She literally does nothing else. So yeah, we're just done talking about her forever. Cool. The next episode, Leo duels some ghost kid in a forest to save Luna, who is kidnapped by him. I don't care, so let's get back to actual plot, shall we? Which kicks off with a bang, as the next episode just starts with Yusei kidnapped in the back of a truck. I'd say that escalated quickly, but there was no escalation. A man appears on a screen saying because of Yusei's accolades, he's inviting him to be on his team for the World Racing Grand Prix. Jack, Mina, and Akiza are out looking for Yusei. Crow's not because he's working. And Jack points out Akiza seems to be very upset that someone took her Yusei away, kidnapped Yusei. That's when Mina and Akiza get a weird message from a mysterious person about Yusei being in the back of a truck on the highway. So Akiza uses her psychic powers to break him out and gets stuck on the truck with Yusei when Mina's car gets wrecked by the powers. So with nowhere left, they have to escape on Yusei's runner. But that's a problem for Akiza, because if you haven't noticed, Akiza has never turbo-dueled. She's never even been on a bicycle. That's when a mysterious duelist shows up and challenges Yusei to a duel.
Come forth, Yusei Fudo. Come forth and duel me.
Great. This day keeps getting better.
And gets forced into one when they escape, saying they planted a bomb on Yusei's runner that will go off unless he wins. As the duel goes on, Akiza starts revving up, realizing the wind and the children's card games on 2 wheels is kinda hype, especially when she starts realizing that despite not knowing who this is, Yusei, by turbo-dueling this person, is somehow connecting with them through the heart of some kind of card. Yusei realizes, though, there is no bomb, it's a hoax, and asks this person's true intentions and who they are.
My name is Sherry LeBlanc, and I wanted to test your courage under fire.
You're a woman turbo-duelist?
Oh. A new wife. This is Sherry LeBlanc. She's also voiced by Eileen Stevens. Sherry's supposed to be French, and she has a pretty alright French accent, I guess. I mean, I'm not French, so I guess I can't really judge. I think we all can agree, though, none of that matters. She's a hot French girl, so I think we're all on board, right? Sherry reveals that this duel is meant to be a test for Yusei, but doesn't expand, and just continues the duel. And now seeing this duelist as a sexy French lady, Akiza is now very jealous of Yusei connecting with her through bike gaming. You also see a brand new thing with turbo duels, that you can use the effects of the new Speed World 2 to use your speed counters to deal damage to your opponent.
Speed World 2 in play. As long as I have 4 or more speed counters, I can deal 800 points of damage for every speed spell in my hand.
I'm only bringing this up because it matters for a few duels in like 40 episodes from now. I'm not kidding. It's not even in this video. And then Sherry tells Yusei why she's doing this. Revenge. As years ago, when she was a wee lass, she was happy with her mama and papa of the LeBlanc family. It wasn't until one day her parents were killed. Again, the dub says disappeared. The only thing she had left were her butler Ellsworth and one card her parents left her. The card they were apparently killed for, though she doesn't mention what it is. But she does mention who killed her parents. People from the Order of Iliaster. Yep, the same organization Rex Goodwin was in and helped manipulate Roman. And Sherry even reveals that Iliaster are the organizers of the WRGP. So she's here to duel Yusei and recruit him for her team, knowing he also has some beef with Iliaster. Especially when she points out Yusei doesn't really have a reason to duel right now. He's always dueled for his friends, but they're all fine now. Satellite and New Domino are connected, he's kinda did his job. He has no reason to be the protagonist right now.
What is it you are dueling for? Why are you entering the World Racing Grand Prix with your friends?
I don't know. I mean, why do mountain climbers climb mountains? It's because they're there, isn't that what they say?
So in other words, you have no reason.
Yusei actually thinks about joining her, but Akiza's not having any of Yusei joining with a hot French lady. Unfortunately, the guy who kidnapped Yusei, he's not important. He doesn't have a name. The organization he's from doesn't matter. None of him matters. Tries to take them all out, and Akiza uses her powers to save them, with Sherry finding out she's a psychic duelist. With that, the duel ends with no conclusion, but Sherry says she will definitely meet Yusei again, and even Akiza, as seeing her powers has caught her interest, and she rides off. And with that, Akiza and Yusei both have things to think about, as through this experience, Akiza now wants to learn to ride a bike, and Sherry's words have Yusei pondering, yeah, what is my motivation to still be in this show? On top of that, what if Ghost Boy shows up again? So to hopefully solve these problems, the next day he asks Jack for a duel, and in this duel, Yusei attempts to win without Synchro summoning. Oh, Yusei, let me tell you about this thing called Xyz summoning in the next set. It's pretty cool. So you take 2 monsters, right, at the same level. Jack ends the duel early, not wanting to duel Yusei because he's not himself, and tells him who cares if Ghost has a counter to the meta, play Synchros and draw better. Unbeknownst to the gang, a mysterious person with blue hair is watching all this unfold. Later, the party for the kickoff of the WRGP begins, where the signers are attending. Looking good, Jack. And they meet Team Unicorn, the best turbo dueling team in the world, who are competing. But everyone attending does notice the new director of the city is not there. Actually, most people have not met the new director yet. Before that, though, some weirdo crashes the party. That's all that happens with that. But as the festivities are dying down, that mysterious man who's watching the gang earlier arrives, calling himself Visor, and says he has a solution to Yusei's problem, the Synchro solution. They actually call it that.
You're not ready to face the ghost again. You must first find what you're looking for, the Synchro solution.
Who exactly are you? How about a name or something, buddy?
You can call me Visor.
So, Visor, how do we know we can trust you?
You can't. And where I come from, trust is something a person has to earn.
Yusei agrees to duel this man while the new mysterious directors watch.
First, from my hand, I summon Tricolor in defense mode!
And during the duel, Visor shows Yusei what he's talking about. Excel Synchro, a new version of Synchro summoning where you go fast as fuck. So fast you can Synchro summon on your opponent's turn.
An XL Synchro Summon uses a Synchro Tuner monster and a Synchro monster. Of course, that's what he meant by finding the Synchro solution. It was there all along. I just had to push hard enough and go fast enough to uncover it.
Yeah, that's the solution to Infinity Man. It's just another form of Synchro summoning, which doesn't really stop the monster that absorbs Synchro summons. But I'm sure the Synchro monster Yusei will summon with this skill has some very specific ability to counter all that, so. Yusei ends up winning, knowing Visor through, and he wants to know why. Visor says, all in due time, protagonist. The Iliasters saw the duel, but not the Excel Synchro itself, but now have become intrigued. Sometime later...
Looking good. You almost look like a turbo duelist.
Something's not right.
Oh, 決まってる。
孫にも衣装か。
The one time I'm upset that I'm watching the dub. It's not fair! Fuck, that hurt. Ow, god damn it. Yeah, we get a whole episode about Akiza, about damn time, where she learns to ride a duel runner, where Trudge is the examiner, because... I don't know. I will say, I am glad they gave Akiza a personality after the Dark Signer stuff, where before she was mostly angry and kind of angsty. Now that she's chill, she's a lot more sassy than you'd think, and is more stubborn. It's great, still prime wife material to me.
Oh well, there goes our ride.
I thought the idea was to get me out.
Fine, next time I won't try to save you. I'll just leave you. So, do you think they'll slow down and let us off?
Probably not.
Hate she kind of went on a date with Yusei. It should have been me! I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to hit that. Despite her sexist classmates trying to sabotage her, Akiza passes her test and now has her license to play children's card games on bikes, and her own personal duel runner courtesy of the boys. Can't wait to see her use it like 2 times. I'm going to skip the next one. It's about Jack who goes after another criminal when a cop gets injured. The cop does come back, but the episode is whatever. And the Iliasters think so too. By now we know all their names. The older one is Jacob, the young adult one is Primo, the Sonic one, and the youngest looking one is Lester. And Lester is like a kid becoming bored spying on Yusei and his friends constantly, and claims that by now the circuits should have been activated. But Primo says they can't act as long as the Snyders are around since they did beat Goodwin. But some excitement might come when another tablet falls from space, which Lester is happy about. Hearing of this, Yusei and friends go investigate the tablet, as the ghost started showing up after the last one. But when they get there, Sector Security already took the tablet away. And coincidentally, strange things do happen, as the next day in Leo and Luna's class, they get a new transfer student. It's Lester. Yeah, he turned himself into a kid, well, a smaller kid, and tries to get in between Leo and Luna by luring Luna with expensive stuff, like a turbo-dueling skateboard. Wow, that's lame. And eventually Lester reveals himself and has a radical turbo duel against the kids, where the damage is real. But we see Lesso also has an Infinity Shits. And yeah, this whole long setup has been Lester trying to kill Luna, as the Signers are a problem for Iliaster for reasons we don't know yet, and despite Leo trying to protect her and the others showing up, Lester is about to deal the finishing blow, but Luna is saved by her dual spirit pals and the power of the Crimson Dragon, annoying Lester as he runs off. Then something very strange happens. Leo and Luna take the gang to the mansion Lester had, but see, it's completely gone. An entire mansion. And when they ask their friends about Lester, who transferred into their class for several days and hung out with them, they claim they don't know anyone like that. It's almost like Lester was erased from existence? Huh. The next episode is a clip show. Yeah, you gotta have 1 or 2 in every Yu-Gi-Oh series, unfortunately. The only important thing is Yusei tells Jack and Crow about Iliaster being behind this whole thing, probably, as well as that time Rowan met one, and they kind of started the Darksiders too. Really, Yusei, you never told them that until now? Seems pretty important. As important as a favor Trudge and Mina need from the boys again, as they bribe them with a fancy meal. This time they need them to babysit. Not a kid, but a grown-ass man with amnesia named Bruno, who mysteriously washed up on the beach. Hey, like Zane! Quick, ask Bruno about underground duels. If you're wondering why these police officers are asking the civvies for help again, they say because of the WRGP and ghost shenanigans, they're swamped with work. And 3 refuse because, like last time, this isn't their job. That's when on their way out they see some guy with blue hair messing with Jack's bike, and Mina tells them that's Bruno.
Boys, this is...
Bruno? Why didn't you come up to the restaurant?
I saw that incredible duel runner and I just had to start poking around. I couldn't help myself. I didn't even know. So I'm guessing this is the stray you wanted us to adopt.
And Jack takes him away on his runner. What? Wait, blue hair? It's exactly like Zane. Yusei and Crow catch up with him and we find out Jack took Bruno because he did something to his runner. Something that made it better, running with more power than ever before. Yusei, being a turbo nerd himself, instantly becomes interested in Bruno's skills, and asks his help with a super special awesome engine that uses a powering system similar to the NRD reactor. While the nerds work on that, Jack and Crow are not very trusting of an amnesiac with pro mechanical skills suddenly showing up out of nowhere and helping them. But Yusei and Bruno become too enraptured in this project, even neglecting the other signers. See Akiza, he'll leave you for the next bike otaku, I'll take care of you. Eventually the nerds finish the new engine and get some rest, but the next day find it's gone, it's been stolen. Jack instantly accuses Bruno, but even Crow realizes why would he steal it and stay here. That's when they find Jack's cup ramen was eaten last night, and has a fingerprint of probably the thief. So they hack into the sector security database to match the print with the thief, and to get in, they have to solve a duel puzzle. I remember when the show was about children's card games on bikes. They managed to solve it and find out the thief was... Lazar? Admittedly, I wasn't expecting that. They managed to find him in the city, and thanks to his clown tricks, he gives Jack and Crow the slip in a Scooby-Doo-esque chase. But Yusei and Bruno see through it and follow him to a shady factory. Inside, Lazar hands the plans to Primo, who does not explain and tells Lazar to fuck off. But Yusei catches Lazar on the way out, as him and Bruno split up, and Primo traps Yusei and Lazar in a room with a dueling robot. You have to get out, he has to duel a robot.
So much for this one round going to the machine, unless I can get my game on and quick.
Okay, Yusei, this really isn't the time to be bringing up catchphrases of other protagonists. Because Bruno gets knocked out by Primo, and we see he wanted the engine to power a whole army of ghost-like robots. Oh, that's not good. And to cover his tracks, he sets the self-destruct button on the factory. Jack and Crow show up and manage to get out with Bruno, while Yusei beats the bot and escapes with Lazar, who ditches Yusei, not answering why he stole the plans. While Jacob does not approve of Primo's plan, him and Lester are okay with it, as long as it contributes to something called the Grand Design, and they claim activating these circuits, the thing they mentioned before, will lead to that. Also, we find out Lazar has a family of a clown wife and a clown kid. That does come up again. We then get a two-parter that didn't need to be a two-parter. Jack is framed for crimes he didn't commit, as someone is going around with his runner and cards. He gets arrested, but is broken out by and duels the fake Jack, and loses, seemingly dying. But really, he was captured by the Iliasters for some reason. This is another thing that doesn't really come back again. It seems important that they want something to do with Jack, but no. Jack escapes, beats the fake, and they all see it's another robot. But this is fine, as the Iliasters say this adventure somehow contributed to the Grand Design. The next episode doesn't matter, I won't even acknowledge it. The only cool thing is Time Wizard shows up, a Joey Wheeler fan I see. But now, after all that mediocrity, we finally made it. As we begin the best arc in the Yu-Gi-Oh series, that's right, better than Battle City in my opinion, better than Duelist Kingdom, better than Season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh GX. And it's crazy too, considering it's also the shortest one, it's only a few episodes, as we begin the Clash at Crash Town. It begins with Yusei riding through a desert for reasons unknown right now, where he sees two men who look like prisoners being chased and captured as one of them throws a locket at him. Yusei asks the chasers, what the hell, and they just say it's some escapees and they're going to take him back to the mine. But if Yusei's a duelist, he should head to town, they're looking for some. Arriving, the locals instantly try to duel Yusei, but a super hot woman named Barbara shows up and gets them to disperse. Apparently, Yusei received a letter from Sexy, claiming a friend of Yusei is in town and he needs to save him from doom. She then explains this town is run by two duel gangs, the Malcolms, led by Malcolm, and the Radley Bunch, led by Bradley. I hope their dueling is better than their naming. And the two gangs are about to duel as Barbara tells Yusei to just watch. Malcolm calls for some jobber named the Giant, and Radley calls for his ace duelist.
Is that Callan?
Yep, Callan somehow ended up here after the Dark Signer stuff. Callan duels and ends up winning when two people show up and take the Giant away. And Barbara explains this town is run by the two gangs, as they both try to duel for control of the town every single day. not for the city itself, but for a mine nearby that extracts dyne, a very lucrative mineral, as it's used to construct duel runners. So whoever has total control of the mine becomes a very rich person. And while the winner of this eventual war will own the town, the losing duelists like the giant get shipped off to the mine to work until they die. And that's where Callan comes in. He ended up here, found this all out about the mine, and is trying to get sent there, because he thinks dying there by working will pay for all the sins he committed as a Dark Signer. Only problem, Callan has not lost a single duel. This was his 50th win. So Yusei asks if Callan wants to die, why not throw? And Barbara says nobody really knows. Yusei tries to talk to Callan, but he's ignored, and now seeing why he's here, Yusei comes up with a plan with Barbara. At Malcolm's hideout, he's salty he lost again and claims this wouldn't have happened if his brother Lawton were here. That's when Yusei shows up and duels Malcolm's gang, saying he's looking for work. And after schooling them, Malcolm thinks he found his own ace duelist. So Yusei heads to duel Callan, working for Malcolm. Callan is surprised that Yusei is dueling him, but thinks it's appropriate that he be the one to make him pay. But Yusei has other plans, as after winning the duel, Barbara will cause some sort of distraction, allowing for Yusei to grab Callan and take off. Yusei does beat Callan and expects Barbara to do just that. But oh no, she's not just hot, she's evil. And Malcolm's fiancé? Really? Her and him? He's gotta be packing, man. There ain't no way he got her. But yep, it was all a setup. Needing to beat Callan, Malcolm's gang found out about his past with Yusei and used him to end his win streak. And that's not all, because when this happens, Lawton shows up, the real mastermind and Malcolm's younger brother, who's also an amazing duelist. So good he manages to beat all of Radley's crew by himself, making the Malcolm gang owners of the town. As for Yusei and Callan, they get shipped off to the mine to work until they die. Callan, of course, is fine with this, but Yusei is already hatching an escape plan, and when he gets out, he plans on helping everyone escape, including Callan. One problem, Callan doesn't want to escape.
Forget Yusei. This is the life I wanted for myself. This is no life, Callan. It's a living nightmare. I put my future in fate's hands, and fate has landed me here. You're wrong. Callan, life is about making your own fate.
But opportunity presents itself, and Yusei drags him out with him, where the two manage to get out but find a graveyard of duel discs. Callan, seeing this, is devastated, realizing that in his quest to punish himself, he inadvertently sent many people to their deaths.
Don't you see, Yusei? It's my fault these men lost their freedom because I beat them. Duel after duel, I sent them all to this mountain. Callan.
That's when two kids show up, West and Nico, who are here with Yusei's duel runner they snuck away from the gang. They did this because West idolizes Callan for being so strong and believed he would be the one to help save the town. He thinks Yusei can help too. Callan is still unsure, but Yusei isn't, and uses his runner to go find a way to free everyone, while Callan is coerced into helping the kids find their dad who was sent to the mine long ago, which might be difficult since the pendant Yusei had was their dad's, who tried to escape earlier. So yeah, might not be good news. Even worse news is Lawton isn't dumb, and saw the kids take the runner and figured an outsider like Yusei would try to cause problems, so he's here to duel him to put an end to this mutiny. Meanwhile, Callan and the kids do find Dad. He's okay, but during a chase with the guards of the mine, he sacrifices himself so Callan can escape with his kids, making sure they're safe. Telling Callan that you should keep living for the people you love and not just give up.
A man can get so blinded by self-pity he forgets that he's got something worth living for. I think a lot of men who come here are like that. They've lost their will to fight on, and they come here ready to lose. But not you. You still got some fight in you. You're still strong.
Meanwhile, Yusei is not doing great at all against Lawton, as he's got a crazy combo that seems unbeatable. But luckily, Callan shows up with the kids and are about to escape the mine, but Lawton stops caring about the duel and decides to play dirty by using dynamite to blow them up. I mean, it's practical. With that, Yusei and Callan go flying into a pit as Nico and West are captured for going against Lawton. What's more, Barbara, despite being incredibly hot, is also a backstabber professionally, as really, she's Lawton's wife, and played Malcolm for some reason. That just seems like a whole lot of unnecessary baggage this family has. And the two go mad with power, now forcing the gang members to duel each other, and whoever loses gets sent to the mine because they want more workers to make more money. Too bad for them, Yusei and Callan wake up. They ended up at the gravesite again, and Callan, after all he's seen, has decided that instead of paying for his sins by dying, he's gonna live and help free this town from Lawton's rule.
I can't give up here. It's time for me to stand up and duel for what's right. I will fight for those who have lost their freedom. And as for those who take advantage of the lost and the desperate, I will show them that justice has a name and a face. Bad news, Lawton. There's a new sheriff in town. Let's go save those kids.
So the next day, the two homies reunited, go to duel Lawton one last time for patrol of the town. And they managed to put up a good fight and are about to win, even breaking the combo he almost beat Yusei with. Unfortunately for them, Barbara and Lawton are actual criminals, and not really duelists, as Barbara plans on hurting the kids if Callan and Yusei don't surrender. Callan almost does, but the kids say not to give in and end this rule once and for all so the town can be free. And hearing these words, even all the gang members are tired of this and stand down, which Lawton does not like, bringing out a fucking shotgun. Well, it's like a stun gun, because, you know, kids show. And he's about to shoot Yusei and Callan. But then Crow appears along with Jack, who saves the kids, saying they came looking for Yusei since he was gone for so long. And they got backup, with Trudge in sector security. Now seeing the jig is up, wait, do they have jurisdiction out here? Whatever. Now seeing the jig is up, Barbara tries to escape with Lawton. But Lawton leaves her in the dust and escapes on his runner, with Yusei letting Callan use his to catch him. And he does, pinning Lawton to the ground. And in a surprise twist, Lawton is like, so I guess we gotta finish this duel, huh? And Callan is like, no, you're an actual criminal. You're getting arrested. Which I think is the only time in Yu-Gi-Oh! History a conflict is not resolved through a children's card game. It makes me very uncomfortable. And with that, Lawton and Barbara are arrested. Again, don't know why they have jurisdiction here. All the other former gang members and workers freed from the mine begin rebuilding the town together, as Callan decides to stay and says the darkness that plagued him is gone, but still has work to do here, as the enforcers give him a thumbs up like the nerds they are.
Yusei, you made all of this possible. Thank you. You were right. The darkness has left me.
Callan.
But yeah, that came out of nowhere. It was kind of fucking awesome. Now in my recap, I didn't get through all the little details of this arc, like the duels of course, some dub differences, and satisfaction, if you know what I mean. But still, I think it came through that out of all the arcs in Yu-Gi-Oh!, this is the most real one. You know, as real as, you know, children's card games on bikes with a mine extracting a fake mineral can get. But that doesn't matter, because like the OG Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's the characters and the world taking this seriously that gets me invested. Especially into Callan, who I was not expecting to come back at all or even cared about, especially them giving him a redemption arc. Especially one so serious that even despite 4Kid's best efforts, can't really sweep most of it under the rug, all the death and slavery. This arc made Callan one of my favorite characters, and I think it was perfect, not only giving him a good ending, but even giving closure to Yusei as he finally was able to save Callan like he wanted in the Dark Sider arc. It's great, the worst part of Crash Town is that you have to watch a bunch of other bullshit to get to it. Which I guess we should get back to, but not now, as next time we will continue on with 5Ds, into a very weird era of it if you're watching the dub. As once again, the biggest issue with Yu-Gi-Oh! Rears its ugly head for the last time. 4Kids. As we begin the final season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dubbed by them, put an asterisk there, I'm aware of Zexel, along with some subtitles. I'll see you then.
Going fast makes me feel alive. My heart beats